This is an IELTS exam. In part 1, I'm going to ask you some questions about the general topic. Let's just get it started with weekends. How do you usually spend your weekends?
Most of my time is spent by watching TV, and many times my parents object to me and say that I should study. But when I watch TV, it is as if I have entered another world, and that is when I get rid of my sorrows. I make supposition that the feeling of calm is the best thing in the world that can't be replaced with anything else, and I experience this feeling in watching TV.
Really nice. Which is your favorite part of the weekend?
Spending a quality time with my family cheers me up, but unfortunately this event happens once in a blue moon, and I wish I could spend more time with my family. Also, having delightful and entertainment at the weekends grants allowance to us to have memorable time with together. And generally, I think the family is an intimate atmosphere that overcome the problems together and enjoy being together.
Excellent, excellent. Do you think your weekends are long enough?
As I said, I have work coming out of my ears at the weekends, and I prefer to have more free time. I'm looking forward to having more free time, and I'm looking forward to adding some new programs. For example, I desire to go to tennis class and do sports. The fact is that I'm interested in learning the new skills. Also, after a busy week, I expect to be able to rest, but it isn't possible for me because despite all this, it isn't possible and it is so regretful.
Really nice. The last question is, how important do you think it is to have free time at the weekend?
In my perspective, having free times at the weekends gives considerable assistance to us, and it is such an essential issue. But on condition that we manage this, and if we waste our time doing and playing the ridiculous works, we will waste the rare opportunities that they have been achieved hard. And in the time, our life changes to monotonous thing and it will be so exhausting for us.
Very nice. In part 2, you gotta describe someone you know who does something well. You have 1 minute up to 2 minutes to talk about this issue, and you have 1 minute to take some notes. Here you are. Could you please start?
Okay. I declare that my father is the best person that I have seen in my life until now. He has such an extraordinary flair for building and repairing the new things, and the combination of his ability and creativity is surprisingly powerful and exceptional. I'm supposition that his will has caused these issues, and I base this issue on his will. In addition to this, he has come up with amazing advice and suggestion in hard problems. Despite the fact that he hadn't been encouraged in his childhood, he has continued his way, and now, as I said, his ability and creativity is surprisingly powerful, and I admire this. I consider himself lucky to be able to do these works. And I suppose that neither the problems nor the hassles can beat him because he's so wise, and I believe in him. Finally, let me say to you clearly that in my perspective, the intelligence of my father is 2 times as other people's intelligence, and I'm proud of having such a father.
Really nice. So, in part 3, I'm going to ask you some related questions to skills and abilities. What skills and abilities do people most want to have today?
Well, depending on the job that everybody has, the skills that they want are different. For example, a good engineer needs to analyze well, but a good teacher needs to communicate well. But in my perspective, the biggest and the most important skill that everybody needs in our society is learning English and be able to speak it, because many people have immigrated to foreign countries and many people have tendency to immigrate. In light of this issue, we need such a wonderful system to teach it to our teachers and our students. It is interesting to know, according to research that it has been done in a recent year, it has been identified that learning the second language makes mind and thought dynamic. In light of this issue, we should learn English very well, but unfortunately, as I said, English isn't taught very well in our schools by teachers to students. In light of this issue, many institutes have been established in a recent year for teaching this skill to the families and the children. In light of this issue, the families strive as much as possible to send their children to these classes in a wish that their children can be such a successful person in the future. But I make supposition that this issue in part makes kids and children responsible for the responsibility that they will have in the future.
Really nice. Which skills should children learn in the school? Are there any skills which they should learn at home?
I have listened to many different things about foreign countries at schools. In there, life skills are taught to the students by teachers very well, so these students have readiness to encounter the reality in their society. But vice versa in our country, the teachers strive as much as possible to teach such ridiculous subjects to students that they don't need. It doesn't lead to this, but also some teachers strive as much as possible and they desire to inflict their wishes on the students, and it is upsetting. While our country lacks honesty and life skills, and it is full of the liars that they have been brought up in a wrong way from childhood, and the consequences of this issue can be disastrous for our country in future. This issue is same at home, and the parents don't teach these issues to their children. But I think this problem has a solution, and the solution is that in addition to the subjects that the students learn at the school, the teacher should teach life skills and honesty at the schools, and the parents should teach this to the students, and there isn't differences between the parents and children, and the parents should teach these issues even earlier than teachers. And if this issue be acted in our country, neither the problems nor the hassles can beat our country. Because in that time, our country has a strong foundation and nothing can destroy it.
Really nice. That is the end of IELTS speaking test. خانوم کرمی، من فقط میتونم بگم فوق‌العاده بود. یعنی تعداد نفراتی که میتونن به سطح شما صحبت بکنن به قطع یقین تعدادشون بسیار کمه. من اگر میخواستم که به شما نمره بدم به قطع یقین نمره 8.5 آیلتس رو میدادم. توی قسمت اسپیکینگ اگه یکی دو تا مورد رو رعایت کرده بودید حتما شما 9 میتونستید بگیرید. من نکات رو دونه دونه خدمتتون عرض میکنم که توی امتحان اصلی که میخواید بدید کامل بدونید که چه اتفاقی قراره براتون بیفته. استفاده از پسیوا بی‌نقصه تو انواع زمانها. شما دارید مجهول ها رو استفاده میکنید، چقدر خوب present perfect رو استفاده میکنید، این نشان از غنای گرامری شما میده. به جای think میگید I make the supposition that, I make the assumption that. فوق‌العاده است. و phrasal verb ها رو خیلی خوب استفاده میکنید. صفت های advanced مثل delightful، مثل intimate و اصطلاحات رو کامل، یه پکیج فوق‌العاده کامله. یه چیزی که من رو خوشحال میکنه و من به شما نمره 8.5 رو میتونم بدم، یعنی اگر قرار بود که من از شما امتحان بگیرم حتما نمره 8.5 رو به شما میدادم، اینه که بعد از یه سری از افعالی که تو میذاریم فعل بعدی اینجی داره مثل look forward و شما حواستون کامل به این بود. بسیار نکات فوق‌العاده‌ای توی حرف شما از essential on condition that، به شرط اینکه خیلی خوب بود in my perspective، یعنی برای بیان یک موضوع شما از تفاوت‌های لغوی استفاده می‌کنید. monotonous به جای حالا یک نواختی که حالا دارید میگید فوق‌العاده بود کلمه monotonous. پارت آف اسپیچ ها بخش جدایی ناپذیر زبانه و چقدر شما توی این سن تسلط دارید به پارت آف اسپیچ ها. کامبینیشن یا کریتیویتی فوق‌العاده بود. یه سری افعال ما داریم اینا همه گرامرهای ادوانس هست که شما دارید استفاده میکنید. base something on و hadn't been encouraged فوق‌العاده از کالوکیشن های قیدتون عالیه. و نیدر و نور رو چقدر راحت استفاده میکنید در صورتی که این گرامر میتونه خیلی تریکی باشه برای خیلی از بچه ها. کلمه وایز چقدر از و زیبا استفاده میکنید برای بیان صفت ها، سعی میکنید پیچیده تر بیانش بکنید، بی نظیر بود. فقط everybody فعل بعدش باید مفرد بیاد که شک ندارم این توی لحظه از دست شما در رفت بدون غلط تقریبا. و 8.5 واقعا کمترین نمره‌ایه که میشه به این سطح از زبانی داد. امیدوارم که به این نکات دقت بکنید و توی امتحانتون حتما ازش استفاده بکنید.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.